My name is Rich Nice. I'm a music producer, A&R executive, radio host, television producer, and all-around cool b-boy. Well, my family kind of breaks up on a few of the islands, so mainly St. John and St. Thomas. When I was a young boy, I was an adventurous kid. I always loved music. An uncle of mine played in a band, so I always wanted to be around music. Even prior to my uncle being in a band, my dad used to do some light promoting, you know, with different bands like Milo and the Kings and stuff like that. So I've always been around music from the time I was a little boy. So that had a huge influence on my upbringing. One of the neighborhoods that we moved into when we moved to the Bronx was Cedar Avenue. And Cedar Avenue is the same block where Kool Herc brought his equipment outside to do the block parties. So it was a unique place to live, to be able to come outside, walk what we called back Cedar, and see Kool Herc DJing. You know, it was like amazing to see. So it just made me kind of gravitate towards this new music, this new style, this new street beat, so to speak, of what was going on. And it was so engulfing that you didn't really want to do anything else. So in the beginning, even though I wasn't making money from it, I was so attached to being a b-boy. I was so attached to this street culture of hip hop that that's what I wanted to do. I had no idea that later on it was going to lead to making money into a career. I have a cousin named Dwayne Oliver Taylor. He's passed on, but he's from the VI as well. He was the college rep for the Beastie Boys for that License to Ill record. So he brought all these records, he brought all, you know, so it was like I had a lot of access to things at a very young age. So that kind of gave me another insight into the business. And I'm like, well, this is already where I'm going and what I enjoy and what I'm doing. And that kind of planted a seed, like, you kind of have access. It's not a far-fetched dream. You know, I was the first rapper to sign to Motown Records. An accomplishment that I think is, you know, is a great feat, you know, for anyone, no matter where you're from. But it felt really good to be able to say, you know, the Island Boy came and did some cool things on Motown. You know what I mean? It was, you know, moved me out to LA, did my whole LA run, the Hollywood Shuffle, and met a lot of Motown people, got a lot of great tutelage in the music business. That's kind of where I really went to school at, you know, and really got to learn the music business being at Motown. It was a true education. So it was a good thing. I helped start a production company called Track Masters. Shout to Polk and Tone and Steve Stout, and the four of us worked together very closely. I was managing Tone as a rapper at the time. He was called Red Hot Lover Tone, signed to Select Records. We used to work on a lot of songs and albums together and different projects, but all of us individual, you know? So I was saying, this doesn't make sense. We're all in the studio together every night. Either it's my session or Tone's session or Polk's session, and we're all helping each other make these songs, but we're all doing it under our separate production companies, which makes no sense. We're thinning our brand because we're all still working together. So I said, well, let's put this all under one umbrella and make it one production company. So when I'm doing the dance records or the Caribbean records, it's one name. When Polk is doing the R&B records, it's one name. When Tone is doing a rap record, it's all one name, you know? And Steve was like, that's a brilliant idea, because if we don't do it that way, it's gonna take too long for us to get noticed. And doing that, we was able to work with Biggie, we worked with Mary J. Blige, Nas, 50 Cent, Destiny's Child, gave them one of their biggest records. Deborah Cox, oh my gosh, I mean, there's so many people that we got a chance to work with that was so dope. Michael Jackson. I actually pried the Michael Jackson stuff almost over everything because it wasn't the typical Track Masters work. You know, it was for a song. The first time we got to work with Michael was a song called They Don't Really Care About Us, which is not your typical song that we would work on. And I think people thought that we weren't going to be able to flip it, like we weren't going to be able to do it. And it was so unique because, you know, I'm such a huge Michael Jackson fan. I mean, Michael Jackson is probably 90% of the reason why I even started to do music from the Jackson 5 days, you know what I mean? You know, when I started to spread out from just being a music producer and A&R, it started really from A&R, and A&R stands for Artists and Repertoire, and you're kind of responsible for everything. You spend more time with the artists, you spend more time with the music, so everyone's asking you what you think, publicity, promotion, even the video department. And I grew up with cameras. There's pictures, I can show you pictures of me from a little kid in St. Thomas with cameras taking pictures. And so I always was fond of taking pictures. So when the video department wants to meet with me to talk about, what do you think this should be? What kind of vision do you see this? So now I'm starting to write treatments for videos. Right around that same time, one of my really good friends, is actually my best friend, Sway, came to New York City. And we started to hang out a whole lot, and he was working on MTV. So I'm with him hanging out around MTV, so I'm on set every day. So I just left being on music video sets with working for Sony Records and Columbia for over 5 years. So now I leave doing music videos, and now I'm at MTV with Sway, behind the scenes, watching, looking at what's going on. So while this is going on, a friend of Sway's from California is the PD at Hot 97. And Star and Buck Wild got in an incident with the radio station and got suspended. And they had to have someone come fill in. And they called for Sway to come fill in. So Sway said, what do you think? I was like, yeah, go ahead, why not? So he's like, come hang out with me. I'm like, nah, bruh. I'm at the studio, I'll see you later. So he comes to hang out with me at the studio, and I work till like 4 in the morning. He's like, man, you might as well just come with me to the radio station. We gotta be there at 5. I was like, nah, man. He's like, come on. I'm super tired. I'm talking about I might have worked 3 days in a row. So we get in the car service. I'm thinking we going uptown. I fall asleep. He says, all right, we here. I look up, we're in front of Hot 97. I was like, wow, some friend you are. He's like, come on, breakfast is on me. All right, so I go upstairs. We order breakfast, the mics are on, he's talking to me, he's cracking jokes. I'm like, okay, we're cracking jokes back and forth, and the mics are live, but I really didn't realize that my mic was live. I'm thinking just his mic is live. So my mic and his mic is live. So at the end of the show, the PD comes in and says, hey man, that was cool, that was great. Can you come tomorrow? I was like, nah. He was like, I mean, this could be a regular spot for you, we can work it out, I'm like, okay, let's figure it out. And from that point, we started doing morning radio on Hot 97. I think we were there for just about a year and a half, 2 years, about a year and a half. Fast forward, we left Hot 97, Shade 45, Sirus XM, the producer who was at Hot 97 with us, Reggie Hawkins, went over there. Reggie was calling me, hey man, we should get you guys over here. Hey, we should get you guys over here. But we weren't interested, because after a year and a half, 2 years of morning radio, having to be at the station at 5:15, 5:30, I was a different person. My temperament was my temperament changed completely. And I could literally fall asleep in a conversation. I'd be like, yeah, so the other day, right? And you'd go, you just fell asleep in mid-sentence. I'm like, no, I didn't. And people would say, yeah, you did. So I didn't want to do that again. So we fought it and we fought it and we fought it. And then finally, Sway said, yo, let's do it. I was like, all right, bet. Next thing you know, we started doing the morning show on Shade 45. And people were kind of shocked at first. And now it's the #1 radio show, #1 morning show. I started writing programs. Initially what we did at MTV, Sway secured a developmental deal, for us to do work over there. So we did Growing Up Black in America, we did Dances from the Hood, we did, there was a few shows we put together, experimental to kind of test the grounds and see, how people react, what goes well. The television production has been very, very important to me because once again, I want to be able to put quality programming that's still fun, that's still exciting, that's still musical, but intelligent, and showing a different side, because there's enough ratchet TV out there. I think we don't need any more ratchet TV. It's kind of like having roots someplace and knowing when New York just gets too crazy And I'm just like, I'm kind of cool on New York City right now. Like the energy is just way too out of control. I can unplug, and I can get on a plane, and I can come home, and I can just come and walk around and be a regular person. It's so funny being a USVI ambassador. I go places like, I just came back from the VMAs. I went to California, and while I'm out there, I'm on the red carpet, and a guy walk up next to me and goes, "I didn't know you was from the VI." And I was like, "What are you talking?" It's like, yeah, I got some family from there. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, my wife is from there. Blah, blah, blah. Well, yeah, And it's like so weird. I get so many random pokes, like moving around the country when people say, "I didn't know you was from the VI." And I'm like, yeah, that's home team. That's the roots.